Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host, the most Renaissance man who always thinks he can, and your champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back in the Yard of Streams for another edition of the Raw Rewind part of Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. And you can't be taking no nights off here in the Art Streams unless you got the best of the West that you can't forget about with you. Sarah Marshall, what's popping, girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
Ow, oh, just got the fucking wire. What's popping? How we
Hello.
doing on this fine ass Tuesday?
Fine. It feels like Monday to me.
Yeah, Labor Day really screwed that up.
Yeah. But that's okay because I still have a short week, so.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I have a short week too, which is nice. We got Patriots football on Sunday. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yep.
Hell yeah. All right, that's what I've been waiting for. So goddamn long. Be nice to have
Yes.
football Sundays again.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see what's popping from the peeps. David was good. Bernard, hello. Bernard, if you're in that Madden league with me, let me know how you're doing because I just lost terribly today. Speaking of football, Sarah, I lost on a walk-off touchdown. Like Hail Mary, no time left. It was so deflating.
I hate that word.
I know you do. That's
Triggers
why I said
me.
it because that's how I felt. I felt that much pain afterwards. Oh, just terrible. Anyways, let's hear from Dickie. NXT on fire. Julia arrived. Rosemary facing Tatum tonight, and Jordan Grace doing an open challenge next week on NXT. And then he's got Raw. Raw was good too. Jay and Rhea linking up, which we'll get to. Got to see Ilya and Dragon Lee. That was good. And we're gonna talk about all the other fun stuff that he mentioned. But yeah, NXT's on fucking fire. It's awesome.
I feel like they kind of, I wouldn't say it was a mistake, but I almost feel like not having is a little odd given Julia's debut. Like, I felt like I kind of agreed with people that are saying like, okay, obviously the NXT championship was going to main event. So it felt like, okay, something big must be happening in that match, whether it meant like Joe Hendry was winning or something is going to happen. And then it didn't happen. It just kind of fell flat for me because you got all of that excitement out seeing Julia and she's, stepping up to Roxanne. And then it was like, okay. And then the main event was fine, but I was kind of disappointed. I'm like, it would have been cool to end the show with the stare down between Julia and Roxanne, but maybe that's just being too picky. I don't know.
I know. I could see what you're saying. That does make sense. I have a thought that they probably wanted a TNA signed wrestler to main event, like for the NXT champion. Like they wanted to go that route. Like they knew they were gonna get the Julia pop, regardless of where they put it on the show. Where this match, like it's more of a historic, like something that you build upon for years to come by putting Joe Hendry in the main event. And let's face it, like he wasn't gonna win. No one really cared that he wasn't gonna win.
Yeah.
It was more important that you have a cliffhanger, in a sense, happen at the main event, and the cliffhanger being Pete Dunne, our dude, taking Trick Williams out, after the match. And then him doing a little, because he's the busiest man on the WWE roster right now. That's not a champion.
Well, yeah, opinion. Joe Hendry's pretty busy too, though.
He's not a WWE signed wrestler, though.
Well, still.
He is busy, but Pete Dunne is definitely a very busy, one of the more busy WWE superstars, going from Raw to NXT. Thank God he's not on SmackDown anymore, because that's too much. Mm-hmm. That is too much.
Agreed.
He's on Raw, all right, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. It was good, and I think we can just start off with this banner. Sarah, I'll lead things off here with Bash and Berlin thoughts, because we obviously did not get to go live or post any videos because Labor Day weekend, everyone needs a break. So start off the show with our thoughts on it, because Sarah, I did not hate it. I didn't think it was outstanding, but I thought it was a solid showing, and it did the job that I feel that they wanted it to do.
I think anybody who had a super high expectations were asking too much because
Mhm.
SummerSlam was 3.5 weeks ago.
Mhm. That's
Like it's,
exactly.
it's not
Exactly.
they didn't have that much time to build, like completely brand new stories or feuds or whatever. Um I think the matches were solid. I
Great.
personally loved Gunther versus Randy Orton, and yet people are complaining about it. And so I was making it my mission to defend Gunther on Twitter. And it was because so many people were making a fuss over the ending. And I'm like, okay, I get not liking a submission ending, like a knockout ending. What,
Yeah.
just like you were frustrated when I was saying, oh, it should end in a DQ. And you're like, no, that's so boring.
No, yeah. Everyone has opinions and things.
To an extent, I get people being upset about that, I guess. But it just, to me, it draws so much attention to people who don't pay attention to the stories that are being told, because it was so clear why Gunther decided to end the match with a sleeper hold. It's like, okay, let's look back to why this match was happening.
Mhm.
And it was because when Gunther pinned Randy at the King of the Ring show, his shoulders were up, which made it a controversial ending. And then people were like, okay, well, Gunther's not really the King of the Ring, and now he's the champion. That's not right, blah, blah, blah. What's the best way to make sure that no one can say it was a controversial ending? By knocking that dude out, putting
But
him to sleep.
but
Nobody could say
no
anything
questions.
about
Yes.
Randy shoulders being up or the referee being compromised or this or that. No, dude fell asleep. So
Mhm.
that to me was so odd. I'm like, just say you don't like Gunther and you're
That's really what it is,
lost.
Sarah. It really is
That's
what
what it is.
that's
Like,
what it is. That like I understand. I can get behind like, all right, if I don't like somebody, but that is the most cut and dry way to end that match, and it is the right decision.
yes.
He didn't tap. All right, pinfall can still be a little iffy because it's a pinfall. It's the referee,
Hmm.
but to solidify that, no, Gunther is the guy. Gunther is the King General and your world champion on Raw. Like that's the way to do it. And then the aftermath of the match, where the sign of respect, like that is what I was referring to when I said that the pay per view did a job.
Hmm.
Job was to build Gunther up as a legitimate champion that you put in the same conversation as Cody, where it's like there's no way that dude is losing in the next few weeks or his next title defense. And for Randy to show the sign of respect, pass like that is what you want to see happen to your world champion on his first title defense. It
Well,
was a very good job.
and let's think about how many times in Randy's career has he passed out in a match.
Few,
So
few.
that's another thing for all of the people who just want to say that Gunther's overrated, he's boring, he sucks, he's this or that. If Randy felt that way, I don't think Randy would have agreed to pass out in a title match against him. You know what I
No,
mean?
he
Like,
wouldn't have. He would not have.
no. So yeah, so that I mean, I think the rest of the show was fine. I think we kind of knew how everything else was going to go. I think the mixed tag, we'll talk about like everything that's going on with that, but
Mhm.
otherwise I liked Cody's match opening. I think
I
that was a
loved
little
it.
bit surprising just because Kevin didn't turn even though he tried or he thought about it. So
It's
how
slow
that plays
roasting.
out is going to
Slow
be really
roasting.
interesting because I feel like there's still legs for that to continue and for Kevin to potentially fully turn if he wanted to. And that to me feels like that would fit fine on Bad Blood if that was what the match was. Because there's plenty of time between now and then, not to mention their history, for it to be like fulfilling enough to be a bad blood match, you know. But there's just a lot of rumblings about it potentially being Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes, and I really
I
hope that's
can't.
not it.
I can't. I
But then
don't care.
but then
Like,
also, how long are we going to put off Roman's return to the ring? You know, like I'm not saying that he has to face Solo at Bad Blood, but like, how long are we going to keep playing this game? You know, like we assumed that that was the first show that he would be a part of because it made sense.
yeah, and they
So
pulled
then
him off
it's
of SmackDown.
yeah, but then it's like, okay, so if he's not at Bad Blood, that means you're pushing it back again to War Games. Like that's the first time we're gonna see it. To me, it just feels
Good.
like that's kind of. I mean,
I
that's
like that.
I guess, but then that means we're probably gonna have to deal with Solo versus Cody at Bad Blood, and I don't like that.
Well, I don't. I don't think so. I think there's more. There's more to do with the bloodline right now that doesn't need a match at Bad Blood. Maybe there is something at Bad Blood between them, whether Roman's there or not. You do something because it does fit the paper. It does fit the show title. But right now, it would make more sense for Cody's opponent at Bad Blood to be someone like a KO if a heel turn happens, because they could go down a very deep rabbit hole of how their indies run. Like KO made a name for himself, and just because Cody had that WWE rub or something, he's welcomed with open arms back and accredited for it, but he did it the entire time. Like you can do a lot of different
Dusty.
things. And the Dusty, I was Dusty's kid, like all that. Like there's another connection there.
Well,
Like there's a lot to do there that makes more sense for them at Bad Blood than seeing Solo Sikoa, Cody Rhodes round 2. Like I don't care. I don't want it. No,
well, I
no.
feel like we've all kind of moved on to focus on the bloodline feuding with the bloodline. So it's like
Yes, that's
you
right.
kind of thought that that was finally going to be over with Cody. So then to go backwards, but that's the thing is Solo already said whoever won he was going after. So I'm like, well, can we have that
Mm,
on just an episode of SmackDown instead? Like, I don't
yeah.
want to wait until Bad Blood because then that means that we're going to have to see Cody attacked like every single week by every member of the bloodline. It's like, no one wants to see that again. We've been dealing with it for the past like 2.5 years. We don't want to see that. So I hope that's not the case.
I hope so either. I hope so too. Sarah. What you know? What? How about you? Do you want to get comments or do we want to jump
Doesn't
right?
matter. That's okay.
Um,
Whichever.
I'm already. I'm at the comments. Bernard, it's
Yeah.
so sad about the Madden League. I did not know that. Tony, Liv should not have taken the pin. Is also frustrated. Alba lost the tag titles. Other than that, results were pretty predictable. I mean, I thought them losing the tag titles was pretty predictable. Tony.
Yeah, we
I
both thought they were going to lose simply because if they're trying to um have the women's tag titles featured weekly, then they're going to put it on the people that they're going to feature weekly, which is
mm-hmm.
Bianca and Jade. I don't love that Liv got pinned either, but we can talk about what that
Yeah,
could
I don't.
potentially mean.
Yeah, I don't, and I'm happy they keep Cody sacred. Us too, Vinny. Us too.
Yeah, I assume it's going to although like I was talking about this as I was watching it, like I don't think Cody is going to lose anytime soon, but I really would not be shocked whenever he does lose the title that it is to somebody like Kevin Owens. I really would not be surprised because Kevin hasn't been champion in over 7 years and stuff like that, and it's been 8 years since he's been world champion. I really would not at all be shocked if Cody signed off on making him be the guy to dethrone him.
KO.
Yeah. You were not
Okay.
were you listening?
Yeah, no, I was. That's why I'm pondering. I get
It
it,
seems
but
like you're trying to think of what I said.
no. I'm thinking about why,
I
like maybe
said
in the future,
event.
but
That's what I said. That's why
no,
you
but
weren't
even
listening. You weren't
no, but
listening.
I went now. I was listening. I
I
just
said I wouldn't be surprised if whenever Cody loses the title, which I said would not be anytime soon, I would not be surprised if he decided that he wanted it to be Kevin Owens to take it from him, is what I'm saying. You should
still
you should
disagree with him.
embrace that.
I want to so
There's
bad,
nobody
Sarah.
who should take the title from him right now. So I think saying it right now and talking about it in like 8 months, I don't see there's anything wrong with saying Kevin could take it from him in 8 months.
I don't, and I want to, but I, like you, in a way, I'm too nervous to be all in on that idea so that I'm not let down. See there, that's what
Interesting spin.
I okay. You know what?
Um,
Anyways, let's
okay.
talk about him. Thank you.
Okay. So last night was the what wasn't it is it next week that's like the season premiere or
Yeah,
whatever.
which made no sense to me either.
They do that all the time. They just decide it's like the season premiere and I'm like, "All right, you guys
But
don't
why?
even really have seasons, but whatever."
But why wouldn't they
Um
do the season premiere this week when they were introducing a whole new commentary team
I don't know.
after the pay per view? Like what? Okay, it's
I don't
just
know.
nonsense. Thank
So
you.
this week we saw the new commentary team on Raw because Michael Cole is moving to SmackDown to join Corey Graves while Pat McAfee is doing college football, which I wish he would
Mhm.
just continue doing for the rest of his life and never return to WWE, but that is a story for another day. So we have Joe Tessitore, ESPN's Joe Tessitore, joined by Wade Barrett to call Raw. And a lot of people had a lot of opinions about his first night. And we were talking about it before we went live. I think some people were jumping to conclusions about how good or how bad he was going to be far too early in the night.
Far too
But
early.
I think as I said on Twitter, in case you guys don't follow me, I think that you could tell from right away, obviously, he was going to be nervous. Doesn't matter how much experience he has in calling football games or calling boxing, whatever, because we know he has decades of experience doing that. This is a completely different genre of sport to call, and it's not going to be easy. But you also have to remember it's his first night on the job. And he's the lead commentator, so he's not supposed to be like making jokes and stuff like that. Although
That's not his
obviously it's a
role.
little bit more lenient now under Triple
Yeah,
H.
it's not like he's not supposed to show a side.
Yes. And he's going to start it off by being a little nervous or maybe a little bit more buttoned up or whatever, but you could tell as the evening went on, he was getting better and better. It's not even like there was nothing wrong with his commentary at the beginning. It was just like it was
No,
more straightforward. And then as the night went on, he was showing way more personality. And I liked some of the things that he was even bringing up, like that moment where he was talking about. I think it was after we saw Uncle Howdy, and he was just like talking about what his sister posted on Instagram. It's like that is stuff that would not have happened in
no,
the previous era.
no. That's
So
awesome. That brings
it
a whole new element to it.
yeah, I thought he did great and it makes me really excited to have him on Raw. And I'm like, I'm glad that they locked him down. Like, I don't know what he's going to do when Pat comes back. I don't really care, but I'm excited to see
They're gonna
what,
have a role for
yeah,
him.
how this grows.
They're easily gonna have a role for him, and you can
Oh,
tell
yeah.
the way that he was presented last night. They're trying to give Raw a facelift, and I don't mean
Hmm.
that in a bad way. Like they want to legitimize Raw, where you have that outside fan who's just what we call the casual here in the yard. The reason to stick in every week and become the
Hmm.
weekly viewer because just I listen to him when I watch my football team. Insert here, like or on ESPN. That's going to make you stick around, and he does a good job where he does blur the line of the innocence of not knowing like he is an outsider, but then also playing along like he is part of the show, like immersing himself with the Wyatt Six thing afterwards, like actually being disgusted with the Drew McIntyre CM Punk thing. Like
Hmm.
you could have had someone like what's his fucking name? Jeff Harvey guy. What's his name? Mike Adamley, thank you.
Oh,
And you could have a guy like that, and it's a dud right away. This dude, you don't see any of that at all. Don't see any of that at
no,
all.
he was a natural. And I didn't
Natural
feel
is a
like
good.
there was any instance where it seemed like he didn't know what he was talking about. Like I actually was impressed with
Mm-hmm.
how fluid he was. Like, yeah, he's not going to be Michael Cole on night one,
No, he's not.
obviously,
No, he's
but
not.
I wasn't sitting there like super paying attention to what he was saying because he already messed up or he pronounced that person's name wrong or he
Yeah,
didn't,
that's not
like
what I.
there was and that I think is good. Like in a way, commentary is there to like boost the show a little bit, but it's almost like good commentary is one that you don't have to listen to. Like
Yes,
it's like
I
it's
agree with
there
you.
if you want it, but you don't have to listen to it because you're so involved in watching the match. I don't know.
Mhm.
I thought he did a great job, and I feel like he definitely is the best commentator that they've tried to hire from outside of the company and call
Oh,
shows.
easily. Oh,
Yeah.
I would agree with that 100%.
So that makes me
Hundo for you.
excited about what's to come
And
because
he
I
had good
think
chemistry with our pal Stu.
and that's
Great
going to get
chemistry.
better obviously. I feel like they're a better pairing than like if they have thrown him Graves. I think Graves
Yeah,
is
great. No,
too.
that would not have been good. Like Cole works well with Graves because like
I
wrestler and
really like
wrestler.
Cole and Wade though.
Well,
So that
I
kind of
mean,
sucks.
Wade's that versatile
I
weapon.
just love Wade. That's the
Wade's
thing.
the best. He's so underrated.
I know.
So underrated.
Um, but yeah. So moving on to the start of Raw, we saw mommy kick off Raw, and she came out to gloat about her win alongside her terror twin Damian Priest over Daddy Dom and Liv Morgan. And she officially challenged Liv Morgan for the women's world title now that she thinks, okay, we've handled our business, blah blah blah. Dom comes out to basically be distraction so that Liv can try to sneak attack Rhea, which that ended up in that was
That
crazy
was a
how
terrible.
that
That
was
was. Go continue.
crazy. It was just Rhea's leg getting caught up and whatever. Like everything worked out really good, but I know that a lot of people were happy about the focus of Liv and Rhea and all this whatever going back to the women's world title. And because people are like, oh, the focus has it's like not even about the world title anymore. And I had a couple things to say about
Right.
that, which some of it we already talked about. One, where were you during the entire year-long reign of Rhea Ripley when she would go months without defending the title?
Yeah,
Where
where
were
you
you
been?
guys? Where were you? I didn't hear you complaining about a lack of, emphasis on being champion. No one said anything. And it's because it's Rhea Ripley. And I love Rhea Ripley, but come on, let's hold the same standard for the same people, for everybody. You
Yeah.
can't make it okay for Rhea and all of her stories being revolving around the Judgment Day and not about the women's world title. But when it comes to Liv Morgan, it's a problem. Secondly, the reason why that was happening is the implosion of the Judgment Day happened in
Ah,
one
yes,
night.
it did. It
So
did.
you have to address that before you start addressing like individual feuds. That's what they
Mhm.
did. That's what this match was at Bash in Berlin. Because hello, it was a pay-per-view that was 3.5 weeks or whatever it was after SummerSlam. So it's like,
Mhm.
again, whatever. Now the focus is shifting back to the women's world title, which makes sense because the next pay-per-view is Bad Blood next month. So yeah, we're gonna have individual titles back. I'm excited. I think Rhea and Liv, I really like their chemistry in the ring. I think they're gonna put on a banger match.
Yeah, I'm
But
not worried about that. I'm not worried, and I'm more building off of your opinion or thoughts. There is that they're not gonna. It's not gonna matter. They're gonna put on a banger match. That's not what this is
yeah,
about. It's all about building the match to make it mean something and to make it brutal and worth it. Rhea coming, which makes sense. I know we said on the predictions on Thursday last week,
Wednesday.
or Wednesday, whatever. That we didn't want the Terror Twins to win. I still don't.
I didn't either.
I didn't either, but I
I
get it.
Well,
Like
this is
if
the thing.
it's
We said if it was going to happen, it had to be Dom that got pinned. That was the issue that I had, was that Rhea
yeah.
pinned Liv. I didn't
I
like
have
that.
opinion. I didn't like it either, but if it's gonna
But
lead to a title match, then okay,
yes,
I'm
but
going to get it. But
that's
like,
where like a whole different can of worms comes in, right? Because what we said was whatever happens, we thought that the Terror Twins shouldn't have won, but we said if they did win, it couldn't come at the expense of Liv. Somehow was going to set
it
up
did.
Liv versus Rhea, Finn
It did.
versus Damien, which we are yet to see. That has nothing happened there. So
Well,
yeah, okay, we're gonna get Liv versus Rhea, but a lot of people think this means that Rhea is going to bring or win the title back at Bad Blood.
no.
But I'm not into it because I also just think that's lame because then you're only going to, I get it. Rhea never lost the title, right? She also had it over a year. So I think we need to calm down about her like immediately needing it back. She was champion for a
Exactly.
year. But I was seeing people say that Rhea would win it at Bad Blood and then Liv would maybe like win the Rumble and then face Rhea at Mania
No.
and win it back at Mania, or vice versa. There are also people saying Liv retains and then Rhea wins the Royal Rumble and she faces Liv at Mania. But I
No.
also don't like that idea because I feel like Liv deserves to have her Mania moment. So if I had to choose, I would rather see Liv lose at Bad Blood and win the title back by winning the Royal Rumble and then winning at Mania. I think that Liv is in a spot right now that deserves to continue this story of her as champion. I don't want to see that end yet.
I I don't want to see Liv's reign end at all. It doesn't need to end. You need to establish her as a legitimate champion. Like she deserves a lengthy reign. Look at how great she's been on camera, but then also in the ring. That move she pulled out at the Bash in Berlin, that's
Mm-hmm.
a Japanese move. Like she know ball. All right, Liv Morgan knows
She
ball.
has a
So,
ring in her
oh yeah, she's
backyard.
back. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm implying when she got the ball. So
Yeah.
you need to reward her for that. And not only that, she could have incredible feuds and matches with a lot of different women on that roster. So why not let it happen? And her and Daddy Dom are the hottest thing going right now. The championship kind of is part of that fire that you need to keep pouring gasoline on. You know what I mean? Like you need to keep going with it, ride that momentum. And Rhea Ripley winning the championship right now derails all of that momentum.
No, I agree because like Rhea's already an established main eventer, star of the show, number one girl in the division. Liv, they're trying to get her to be that because there are still people who don't even think she's a credible women's world champion,
Oh,
despite the fact of like all that she's already
fickle
done.
pickles.
I mean, she beat Becky Lynch to get the titles, but whatever. I think that it's an easy something that's easy to do would be for Liv to retain and
Mm-hmm.
her story to continue with Judgment Day and them trying to establish themselves, which don't even get me started on that. Um, and then Rhea's story could become working her way to try and get a title shot again and working her way back to becoming the champion and winning it from Liv. Like that could be an easy way for them to build her up as an even bigger baby face to face Liv if it came to the Royal Rumble or to Mania. Like that is so easy. I mean, I get that we were talking about this. The Stan accounts for Rhea and the Stan accounts for
Oh,
Liv are absolutely bonkers. And so
just
they're
bonkers.
very toxic on Twitter and they're kind of making this feud like not very fun for the people who are just normal. So I get why both sides are advocating for their favorite to be the champion, but I feel like as far as storyline, as far as character development, as far as like establishing people as legitimate threats in the women's division, it makes more sense to keep Liv as the champion and have a feud that goes beyond Rhea than to just put the title back on Rhea because then what?
What do you do?
Where
What do you
does Liv
do?
where does Rhea go after that? Like to Sonya Deville. That's what you want to see. You know
No,
what I mean? No,
no,
but you
don't
know what
even.
I'm saying? Like that's what
I
you're
know
saying.
exactly what you're saying. I don't want you to go there. All right,
Yeah,
like that's ugly enough for you to just that out there. So,
yeah,
oh, just can we just enjoy live? I mean,
yeah.
this is from an unbiased. Come on, just enjoy what's happening. It's so entertaining.
Richard doesn't like it. He
Richard, you know
said
what?
she beat Becky with Dom's help. People will see Liv as a faux champ because she requires interference. I don't see her as that, but I get why others do. That's the thing.
All right. Well,
Heel
at least he's
work,
saying he didn't.
heel
He
work.
doesn't.
People don't
People
understand
doesn't.
heel work. I don't love it all the time either. I don't like it when people constantly have to get help or whatever, which hello, that was Damian Priest's title reign, but no one wants to
That was
acknowledge
the
that.
legit arc of his title reign.
Yeah,
Was
no
that
one
was
everybody just wanted to
didn't like
casually
it.
forget that after complaining about it his entire reign, but whatever. Um Richard says that she didn't even beat Zelina clean. Liv is a chicken shit heel like the Miz that requires a faction or outside help.
Chicken shit heel is a
But
hell of a phrase.
but the problem is I don't think that has anything to do with Liv personally. It's how they book her. That's my opinion, because you can look. I mean,
No,
you're
because she's
only
a
as good
chicken
as
shit
your
heel.
booking, and if they're not going to put her in good matches or good feuds or have a better outcome in a match, then what does she do? You know,
I don't know. I see her doing great things right now. So,
Romero also says Rhea Ripley doesn't need the championship.
damn right,
regardless of
Romero.
this. Yeah. Um, she
Big
doesn't.
looking.
She is still credible though. Like, I mean, she's still a heel champion. Heel champions are not supposed to play fair. No one's going to say.
Yes.
No one's going to say anything about like I don't know. Let's look if we're going to talk about Damian Priest, and I'm talking about Damian Priest simply because everybody's all up on his ass since he won as after he lost the championship, being like he had such a good reign. Let's think about how he won the championship. He cashed in on a beat up Drew McIntyre, who just had like this crazy match with Seth Rollins, was then accosted by CM Punk, and then he came in and like put a move on him, and then he won. And then every single time he defended it, he got help. Everybody was saying it during his title reign, and then the second that he lost it, people were pissed off about it, and then all of a sudden he had a great reign. But I don't really know that. Like, it's I don't know. It's everything that he was doing was because he was a heel. That's just like what they do.
That's what it is. That's what a
But
heel run is.
but I
Yes.
feel like that's an old school way of booking wrestling that doesn't always fly with like the current day audience, because people are so like they pick and choose when this kind of stuff matters, right?
Oh, you
Because if
mentioning
you
the
look
fickle
at
pickles? Yes.
Liv Morgan and you look at Rhea Ripley, you would never say Liv Morgan is going to beat Rhea Ripley, right? Like if you just looked at these two women, but no one says shit when we're talking about a CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre match. Save your take about how CM Punk has a chance against Drew McIntyre in a normal every day-to-day thing, because that ain't happening. 46-year-old beat up, can't hang CM Punk ain't doing shit to 275-pound Drew McIntyre. Okay, so this is the thing: is people pick and choose. They're doing that with Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, in my opinion. That's what they're doing.
I agree.
But see, like I get what you're saying, but then at the same time,
It
it's
did a
not.
job. That's
But
what.
like Liv is also she's been champion for 100 days, and it's not her fault that they're not throwing people at her. So it's like there's only so much like anyway. All right, moving on to Alpha Academy beat American Made. Nearly beat them. Sorry. Okay, American Made, they are doing what they were meant to do, and they are being heels. They are being hateable. Everyone is chanting "You suck" when they come out. They've got that whole vibe going on.
Kurt Angle vibe.
And Alpha Academy is still hot. They are loving Alpha Academy, and I was really happy for Maxine because that girl came out confident on Raw. And although she didn't do a ton of like incredible stuff in this match, she looked so much more confident, so much more comfortable.
No,
like
really good in the ring.
You weren't sitting there necessarily being like, ooh, like we've seen some of her matches before. Like, no, she was on fire. And this I felt like this was a much better match than I thought it was going to be, just given the participants. I wasn't sure how this was going to go. But I am getting to that point where, all right, I'm done. I don't need to see another match of this. Can we move on? Can we maybe like have Alpha Academy go against somebody else, or like
Like who? That's what I'm
I don't
confused.
know, but like it's becoming.
LWO.
Yes, that's what it's
Yeah.
becoming. It's Santos Escobar versus the LWO.
Oh
That's what it's becoming at this point for me. And I hate to say it because I don't want to be one of those people that's like, oh, I'm just tired of it. But it's also like, how much more story is there to be told between these people? It's kind of like people are already sick of American Made versus the Wyatt Six, which I mean, I get to a degree, but also don't because I want to
no,
see Wyatt
that's
Six.
no. Yeah, I'm
But
not done with that feud.
there's
I'm not done with that at all.
there's more story there, but Alpha Academy, there's no more story to tell. Okay,
No.
Chad Gable left, he abandoned you, he's beating you up, he thinks you guys are pieces of shit, whatever. Okay,
Jeez,
now what?
he slapped the shit out of Julius Creed. No. Yeah,
Yes,
Julius. Yeah.
he seemed to like it.
Oh no, that was a kink. That was a kink.
Yeah, he liked
Uh,
it.
and then did like I will because we've been talking a lot. Let's go back good here. I did like the finish to this with Ivy Nile getting the submission win over Maxine.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a great ending to the match because it makes Ivy look strong. We have not seen her do anything in the ring that makes you take her serious, and for her to not only get the win but the submission she did, like,
Yeah.
very unique. It's a very her thing and very American made finish.
Yeah.
So I did like that, and maybe it could lead to something where she's more legitimate in the women's division.
Well,
Other than that, this match just was like fun to watch.
and it didn't take anything away from Maxine either. You know, like
No.
any other woman
No.
would have tapped to that. It's not just like, oh, it's
Yeah.
because it's Maxine, you know?
No, Maxine had her moment. She did her moveset well, the worm and into, Gable. She was about to hit it, and then Gable interfered. She gets hit. Like, that's what Maxine unfortunately needs to be doing right now. Is just like coming up a little bit too short.
Yeah.
And she made Ivy Nile look strong. So it was
What
a
do you
win, win,
think
win.
about her kip up? Because that startled me. I felt like she could have been a part of the Wyatt family with that.
Oh,
Like,
I did. She defend. Yeah, I did. I was like, oh.
It almost like made me be like, she broke her back. Like, what the hell? I'm like,
It was.
Maybe that'll be her signature thing. I don't know because I've never seen a kip up like that.
I did. I was like, oh, she's dangling.
I know. I was like, damn, she's doing the Matrix. What's going on?
Nice. That was nice. It was original. It reminded me of like now so many people doing kip ups.
I know.
Everyone's putting their own unique spin to it. Have you seen Rizzo from the Families in NXT?
No.
Adriana Rizzo. She has one where she kips up but then lands on a knee like a superhero pose.
Oh.
It's actually really cool.
Yeah, I think I've seen something like that.
I'm
before.
obsessed with, I love Rizzo.
Really. So that brings us to
Thank God.
Chad Gable decided to challenge the Wyatt Six for a 4-on-4 match next week, I believe. And he wants it to be a street fight, to which Mr. Uncle Howdy comes out and mentions
what a promo.
Bray Wyatt.
374 days. I felt the pain.
I know. Oh my God.
I just remember 374 days. 35 now, but it's been.
Yeah. And he accepts their challenge, of course. So I'm excited about this because, street fights are few and far between. We don't see them that often, which is good. I'm not complaining.
No.
But when it involves a group like the Wyatt Six, that means literally anything
is possible.
can happen. And that excites me because I'm like, if we're gonna see anything like what Bronson Reed did, you know what I mean, to Braun Strowman, like, can we involve that in the street fight? Can we have like Uncle Howdy like fly and like, can we do that? Can we do something like that? Like, we don't want anything supernatural, but I'd be down to see Uncle Howdy like flying in.
I just got a bad image of like, you'll appreciate when Joe is the genie.
Yeah, and just crashing.
Genie does as you wish. Like, that's what I'm picturing Uncle Howdy doing.
Yes.
as he's flying. If we're gonna go that supernatural, and that's some Vince PTSD for me. So thanks,
Yeah, but
WWE.
I do think that this is a good way to end this feud.
Yes.
I think the Wyatt Six need to just win, and then because they can't lose. We cannot see the Wyatt Six lose. Or this
No.
is just something that ends, I guess. You know, like if there's no winner, it's like it's a draw or something. It's
Like
like
Chad Gable gets thrown off something, and like that's the end of the
they
match.
throw him off a building, you know.
Or
Or it's
throw him.
like
Yeah.
American made just can't compete, you know, it's like they're just all down so they can't compete or something. That I think would be fine. But yeah, I think this is the way to cap this off. And I'm excited because I feel like we don't have any idea what kind of match this could be at all.
No idea. No idea what type of match. I'm very intrigued how they're gonna go
Oh,
about this.
Richard makes a good point also. He says
Howdy might not be in it.
yeah, that Howdy might not be in it. That is very interesting.
Oh, he's come on.
Well, wait,
Like
American made, 4 of them, including a woman. That's 3 men and a woman. So that technically could be that Uncle Howdy is not in it.
no, but I agree. He won't be officially in, but he is going to play a
Oh,
role,
he won't
a
be.
physical
Yeah,
role
yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
match.
I'm saying like I think he's meaning more like he will not be one of the 3. Like we'll see the well, no, he has to be, right? No, Rowan, yeah, Rowan, Gacy, and Loomis. But yeah, no, it's just like every other match where he's like sitting there in his rocking chair, like he'll be watching. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happens too, which I'm not opposed to because it's kind of like protecting Uncle Howdy, you know, and I
You
think that's
have to
kind of
protect him. Agree.
yeah, to me I think that's fine.
Totally fine.
Because yeah, I want to see them protect him as much as possible and after what we saw of him versus Chad Gable last week, right? It was last week? Yeah.
It was last week.
I want them to kind of like bring him out on special occasions. It's almost like they could treat him like a special, like not a special boss, like the final boss.
Oh
you
no,
know?
he's the final boss of the Wyatt Six.
Yes,
Absolutely.
that would be sick. I do like that. Um, thanks, Jenny. You're so sweet. Thank
I was about
you.
to show you that. Good shit, Jenny.
Yeah,
Thanks for the support.
she's at Fansided, so
Hey, let's go.
NHL and MLB. And I saw Vinny ask if we talked about CM Punk yet. No, we have not, but we are now. So CM Punk came out and did his typical babyface thing of sucking up to the crowd, even though he doesn't
I
let
loved
fans
it.
touch him at meetings. Whatever, you know. I love you, but as long as you're 10 feet away. That's the kind of guy that he is. Just sorry. If you look at the Fanatics Fest photos, you'll know what I'm talking about. So he comes out and he's like, you know what? Doesn't matter that me and Drew McIntyre have had 2 matches and I've won 1 and he's won 1. I've decided this is over. I'm done. I'm moving on from Drew. You know why? Because I got my bracelet back and that is all I care about. So you know what I'm doing now? I am shifting my focus to Gunther because who doesn't want to see CM Punk versus Gunther?
I want to see it.
I
want to
don't.
see it.
I have
I
no
don't care
desire.
about. It doesn't matter what you think.
A lot of people don't want to see it. I'm just telling you now. I found out from Twitter. A lot of people do not want to see it.
I don't care. I want to see it.
So, anyway.
Okay.
So as that was progressively pissing me off, we see CM Punk be like, yes, and like want to celebrate with the crowd and like go and pretend he's like really cool with Joe
And
Tessitore.
then
Oh my god, black hoodied covered man. I couldn't tell who it was, bare chested. I couldn't tell. Thank God Joe Tessitore let us know that was Drew McIntyre. And I loved every second of this.
Of course you did.
Yes, I did. Beyond being a Drew McIntyre fan, okay, I loved this because it didn't make sense for CM Punk to come out there and declare like that this is over. Like, no, brother, you're 1-1. You're far from over. You know, like at the beginning of this, it had nothing to do with your bracelet. You know, like it had to do with Drew injuring you in the Royal Rumble and forcing you to miss WrestleMania. It had nothing to do with your bracelet until recently. So the fact that you got your bracelet back does not mean that this is over. But I was literally just saying, what, a week ago, last week when we were talking about this, that I felt like something needed to be to like spice this up, because I was getting kind of like bored of what was going on, because there's only so much that they can say, back and
Mhm.
forth to keep this feud going. And the strap match, I think, delivered far better than we anticipated.
It was very good.
Um,
I thought the
yeah.
strap match was very good.
We weren't. I wouldn't say that we were pessimistic. Because Jay was accusing us of saying it was gonna suck. We never said it was gonna suck. We were
No, we
saying
just weren't.
historically,
Those
recent
matches I hate the.
recent history, strap matches have been bad. But we said if anyone was capable of making them good, it was these two, and that's what they did.
Mhm.
Um, so I think that because we assume that this is going to end, or at least maybe for now, at Bad Blood, we needed this to happen. We needed Drew to completely unleash and annihilate CM Punk, and he went bonkers. Like, taking the bracelet back,
Oh my
breaking
god.
the bracelet, shoving the beads in his mouth, then attacking him as they're literally trying to load him into the ambulance.
Gouging. He was like the. I won't
I
do it to
know.
myself, but
Well,
like
it's squeezing his head. I know,
he was
like,
doing the eye thing, like
yeah,
pushing
yes.
it. Oh,
And
I
then
love when they do that. It sounds
Punk.
sick and demented, but I do love that. That's why I love wrestling.
Well, Punk is made of tissue paper, so that's why he started
I
bleeding
I
again.
was born with broken
Um,
glass and
yeah.
paper skin.
So yeah, yeah, tissue
I
paper
do want to
skin.
give a shout out to that girl though who made the bracelet.
What's
At
her name? Victoria, I
it's
think.
yeah, her Twitter handle is at Victoria A's underscore. She made the bracelet, and poor girl. I mean,
It's not the real
this
bracelet. We know
you know
that.
I get that, but
Hey, I said there
in
was
the
going to be a
moment,
fake bracelet involved.
did you
I know it was.
really?
Remember, I said there was going to be a fake bracelet. I said it would be hilarious if Drew gave back a bracelet, but it was a fake one. This isn't what happened, but obviously that wasn't the real
No,
one.
you said, but no, you mentioned no. I don't care about the details of it, but you did. I vaguely do remember you mentioning something about a fake bracelet being
Yeah, I
involved.
said it would be funny if he like gave the bracelet, a fake bracelet, back to Punk. Um,
Not breaking it, stuffing his mouth with
yeah,
it, and then
that,
Claymore kicking him to holy hell.
but that
That was
was,
awesome, though.
it was
That
so
was awesome.
good, symbolic, like everything
Bulk
was
is
so good
fun.
about this. This makes me a lot more excited about what's going to come at Bad Blood. um
Mm.
People are already have I mean, people have been predicting, we've even said it, that it seems like this has the makings of a Hell in a Cell match at Bad Blood, and I kind of feel like you can't really go back on that now. I know they
No,
haven't
you
announced
can't.
that, but that feels like the only way to end this, or at least close the chapter for now and like come back to it later, because I
Yeah,
could see this being
title
something that
involved.
picked back up at the Rumble, like if the two of them are in the Rumble at the same time. uh I'm into it.
Ooh.
I think this is one of the better stories right now in
The
WWE.
3 stages of hell would
I
be
know.
very interesting. I will take, yeah, I would take a last man standing, 3 stage of hell, or Hell in a Cell to
Mm,
conclude this feud. Obviously, Hell in a Cell being number one. 3 stages of hell, I just have not seen it in WWE since, and fact check me if I'm wrong, but Triple H, Shawn Michaels in '02 at Armageddon.
mm.
That was the last time I've seen along at least it named 3 stages of hell.
And who has to come out the victor?
Drew.
Okay, so that's the thing. Let's say we've been saying, or well, you recently just decided that Drew had to win. Does Drew have to win the entire feud, in your opinion? If the feud ends at Bad Blood,
Mm-hmm.
Drew have to win.
Yes.
If the feud is not done, let's say they have a match at Bad Blood, but the feud doesn't end until the Royal Rumble or WrestleMania, would you be okay with Punk winning at Bad Blood if it meant that Drew won later?
No, because I want Drew to win this next battle to close the chapter on it, and then later, if it's for the title and they do it back and Punk wins, like whatever.
Oh no, is that? Oh no, it's just me. And now you guys can barely see me. Okay, hold on. All right, this will be us just for now. Um so I think he was saying that he thinks it would be okay if Drew won now and then if Punk maybe won the title later or something. Um I'm kind of I kind of agree with that. But I'm somebody who kind of doesn't I'm not really interested in seeing Punk as a champion. Like it's I think it's just because at this stage in his career he doesn't have to be a champion, and so that's why I'm kind of like I'm not on board with that happening. And I know that's probably not um a popular take, so I'm not claiming that it is, but I feel like there's just certain people that they don't necessarily have to be a champion, and that's CM Punk right now. Um so, I mean, I would argue if it weren't for John Cena needing just like one more championship to tie Ric Flair or to break that record, I would even argue that he doesn't need to be a champion in his retirement tour. But I as a big fan of John Cena, I kind of can't say no to that because I would want to see that. Okay, hold on, because Pat wants me to send him a link. I don't know how to. Oh, invite. Well, how do I send you a link? I'm gonna send it to you on Twitter. Is that okay? Wait, what? No, I think you're in the wrong one. You're not in here. Sorry guys. Pat's internet booted him from the stream. Are you on the computer? Oh, I don't you're not in here. Okay, bye. Anyway, okay, we're gonna try to send this to Pat on Twitter so he can join us again. Um but anyway, what do you guys think? I want to know what you guys think. Do you want to see CM Punk become WWE champion if that were something that were part of his storyline with Drew? Would you not want to see that? Like, am I crazy for not wanting Punk to be champion? Triple H probably will make him at one point, but I kind of wonder if it's something that he would want to do at Mania, if it's something that he would want to do with Seth Rollins. Like, is that something that he would want to do? Um, hello.
I don't know what the fuck just happened. All right.
I don't either.
That
How
was
did you switch us?
I just grabbed my screen and put me over
Oh my
there.
god, I didn't know you could do that. Oh my god, okay. I've been like trying to do that when I was doing Patriot streams with somebody, and I hate being on the left.
Yeah,
So
just grab the screen.
okay, I didn't know that. Punk dethroning Gunther. Okay, so what I was saying is I was trying to go off of what you said, assuming, but I said I personally don't want to see Punk be a champion, at least not anytime soon, because I don't feel like he's in a position in his career right now that he needs to be a champion. So, like, if it came down to him versus Drew McIntyre and the world title was involved or something, like, I wouldn't want to see Punk be champion because I just don't think it's necessary. And I said that if it weren't for John Cena needing to have like one more title run to break Ric Flair's record, I would argue that even Cena didn't need to become champion again in his retirement tour. But I can't say no when all it would take is one more time for him to beat Ric Flair, because I don't know, personally, I'd like to see John Cena in the record books more than I'd like to see Ric Flair.
That's all I care about who dethrones Gunther was either John Cena or Ilya Dragunov.
Yeah, so I'm saying, like, I don't know that I would want the title to get involved between Drew and Punk, but if it did, I wouldn't want to see Punk win. I think that it's like a full circle moment is like, I guess if Punk became champion or something, then Drew like I said, I wanted Drew to cash in on him.
That would have been gold. But
yeah, but then they wasted that. So anyway, okay, moving on. Interest levels in an eventual CM Punk versus Gunther match, because that was teased. And for me, it's an okay, it's a 10 for you.
I don't care about fan. I want to see it. I don't care.
Okay, I'm gonna say a 5, and I was typically say a 0, but I want to see Gunther wrestle, so I'm not going to give him a 0. But for me, I'm just like,
Exactly.
I don't know. Punk is just not this. Like, if you're talking about CM Punk from like 10 plus years ago, then yeah. But it's like, I don't know.
Wouldn't you want to see Gunther just chop the shit out of
I
CM
mean,
Punk? Like that would,
I,
I feel like that'd be right up your alley.
I mean,
I'm sorry, but I mean, I know you don't want to see like Punk in a championship match and whatnot, but let's take a step into your mind here. You seeing Gunther just chop after chop to CM Punk and seeing his chest, like you, I feel would be very much on the side of that.
yeah, I mean, yeah, to that extent, yeah.
So like a 7.
Yeah, sure. I think it's
Okay, thought you
just
were
that
7.
I would be concerned about it not being a great match. Because they're so different, and CM Punk is 46 years old, and like they don't wrestle anywhere near the same, and like Gunther is so much bigger than him, and like we saw how he struggled against Drew McIntyre. I mean, some of those GTSs were not to the face; it was to like the chest or the belly. It's because he just can't do it because the guy is so much bigger than him. So I would just like I don't want to see Gunther have a bad match, and that would be something that I'd be concerned about because I just want to
Okay.
protect him, you know. Um, but on the flip side, other than wanting to see CM Punk get the crap beat out of him by Gunther, which I'd be into, I would also kind of like it because it would be kind of great for Gunther to be like beating these legends,
Yeah,
as
that's
world
there you go.
champion.
All right, good.
So
I
like,
was hoping
yeah,
to build this up.
beating
Okay.
Randy Orton, I'm into it. Obviously, we'll talk
Punk
about his
legend.
next opponent. Beating him, awesome. If he then has to beat CM Punk, I'm into that. Like, if that's what they're going to keep doing, like a legend killer without it being that, I'd be kind of cool. I'd be
Good.
into that.
Good. I'm happy you brought that up because if you didn't, I was about to bring that up. That this match only needs to happen to build up Gunther's reign and legitimize him as the King General as he is. Like, just have him beat all these legends. He's
Yeah.
already a legend at this point with his Intercontinental title reign. Like, why not just go even more all in and have him beat legend after legend after legend? And if you don't want to have him beat Cena, that legend, his first time, we get it. But maybe Cena would be on the more likely to pass the torch and have him beat him eventually. You know what I mean? And build up a story there.
I'm like, ooh, is the Intercontinental? Has he never been Intercontinental Champion? Is that a thing with
Cena,
Cena?
no, he's not.
Jesus.
It's the only
Ah,
title that's eluding him from being a Grand Slam champion.
see, like,
It's a crazy stat, but no. So what do you can't have both to end Cena's career. What do you want? Him to be a Grand Slam or him to be breaking Ric Flair's
17
records?
time.
Okay, good.
17 time. That's what I
See,
would prefer.
good.
Grand Slam means
Go ahead.
nothing. Miz is a 2-time Grand Slam
That's
champion.
exactly
Like, I don't mean to be
yeah.
disrespectful, but like, come on, the way
No,
that they used to
yeah.
pass titles around, like, it doesn't really mean a whole lot anymore. But I also am like, I don't know. We can have that conversation another day because I'm not like I love John Cena, but I don't know that I'd want for almost 48-year-old John Cena to beat Gunther. I don't know about that. But anyway. All right, moving on to the IC title tourney, which we first saw Daddy Dom versus Ilya Dragunov versus Dragon Lee, which eventually ended up becoming Ilya versus Dragon Lee because Daddy Dom ran
Thank
away.
God.
But
I
he
did
was
like seeing
sporting
those.
a rough black eye. Okay, that
Yeah,
did not.
Rhea pointed that out. That was looking
Yeah,
funny. That was
I
looking
mean I
funny.
noticed before that, but
Oh, sorry.
that looked painful. Um, we kind of I wouldn't say we kind of knew how this was going to turn out, but we kind of did. I was really pleased that Ilya won because I wasn't sure about that. I was like, I thought it was going to be between Dominic and him, but Ilya and Dragon Lee put on a banger.
That
Please
was
let me see.
really
Can we
good.
have that be Raw's version of like Andrade and Mello?
So I
Like,
saw a tweet about that. I actually did see a tweet about that.
oh really?
Yeah, I'm with you, Sarah. I saw a tweet
That
about that, and you bring it up. I'm with you both.
the problem is that they're not they don't hate each other, so it wouldn't hit as hard as like Andrade and Mello feuding. However, killer.
Respect. It could just be respect.
Yeah, so I would be into that. So I was really pleased with Ilya being furthered in this match. But then we also saw Bronson Reed, who apparently is sick with a virus. He was
tested positive for COVID.
yeah, I know. I just was trying not to say it.
Oh.
He was replaced in this match by Braun Strowman for some reason. To
Didn't
take on
like that.
I don't yeah. Ludwig
Oh,
Kaiser
sorry.
versus
Yeah, keep going.
Sheamus. Given who was in this match, I honestly thought Kaiser was going to win because of who had already won before him. So I assumed that they were going to go with two baby faces and two heels. That's not what they did. Braun Strowman won. And
Yeah.
the only reason I could see this happening, because to me, I'm like, he literally is going to dominate every single one of the other three in this match, but whatever. Maybe the only reason why they had this happen is because they think that Bronson will be able to come back and maybe he
Interfere.
interferes and is like,
That's
Braun,
only.
you took my spot. What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
In that case, sure. But that's also
Okay.
banking on hoping that Bronson tests negative or like doesn't actually get sick. Because just because you test positive doesn't mean you don't get sick. Like, so
Yeah.
it's like it's banking on that, it seems. But now we know that the tourney will be Jey Uso versus Ilya Dragunov
This
versus
actually
Pete
gonna be a really
Dunne
good match.
versus Braun Strowman.
This is gonna be
If
a
you
good
threw
match.
Kaiser in this instead of Braun, I'd be more into it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn
That would
it.
have
Why have
I
to be
know.
right? I
I
don't
know.
like.
So that's why I'm like, okay, Bronson has to just come out and take Braun out because, like, at this point, no, this man could go in there and annihilate all of these three other dudes. Okay, Ilya and Pete Dunne especially because they are, petite men in this match compared to the others.
Compared to the others, yes.
Yeah, they are short kings, petite kings. So I think it's very obvious who's going to win this match. They showed a backstage segment between Jey Uso and Braun Breaker. So I think we already know Jey Uso is winning. I feel like what else is there to say?
Oh, I could see Pete Dunne winning.
But he's going after Trick Williams right now. So it feels like that's.
I think they're just going both. I think you can do both.
But you really think they're going to put a heel versus a heel for the IC title? I think they want.
Oh no, they're building that. No, I thought with my heart, not my mind.
It's gonna be Jey Uso.
It's gonna be Jey Uso because they tease it with the backstage interaction and
that's what I just said.
No, I thought I was too sorry. I wasn't not listening, but I was so into depth with what I wanted down here.
Yeah.
That I wanted to hope you're wrong, but no, you're right, Sarah.
They're gonna want a super over baby face against Braun Breaker, and unfortunately, all the Jey Uso stan accounts are gonna have to just silently cry into your pillow because he's losing.
He's gonna spear the shit out of it.
Yeah, and a real spear because Braun Breaker does like a real spear, not the like half-ass spear.
No, Braun Breaker is coming at you like a middle linebacker over the middle.
Well, a lot of the spears that we've seen, especially like from the bloodline, like they're like soft. So Braun Breaker, he don't play.
No, I'm not gonna disrespect my tribal chief.
I didn't I didn't name drop. I just said from the bloodline.
But they are the spears in general have gotten softer. Braun Breaker's legitimately looks like it would break a couple ribs.
Yeah,
it does.
So I mean, I think that could be like a solid match. I mean, I'm on record saying I don't feel like Jey Uso is the strongest wrestler. However, I think that this could be a good match and it feels inevitable because of how popular he is and who better to put up against Braun Breaker right now than Jey Uso. And it also kind of makes people feel like there's a chance that Jey could win because he's never been a singles champion. So I feel like that also plays a part in why they would put him in this match, because if you put Ilya or Pete in this match, no one's going to think that Braun's losing. If you put Braun Strowman in it, first of all, there's too many Brauns in the match. And then also you would just be like, oh yeah, Braun Strowman's going to win because he's huge. Like at least with Jey, it's like you kind of question it. So I think that is a little bit more appealing to people, but it's not happening.
Agreed.
Jey having an IC title shot is good, even if he loses. Yeah, I mean that's fine. Especially because he's gonna lose. That's why I'm into it. And then
This was interesting.
this was very interesting. So earlier in the evening, you thought that we were going to see CM Punk versus Gunther. That lasted all about 2 minutes.
Yep.
And then Gunther is making his way to the ring, and you're like, all right, who's this guy going to go after next? Like, who is going to be his next challenger? I mean, you had no idea. All of a sudden, you hear Sami Zayn's music after he's been gone getting stem cells.
Mm-hmm.
And he challenges Gunther for the World Heavyweight title.
He did.
To which Gunther says no, which I was here for. I was sitting there and I'll be like, say no, say no, say no. Like,
It was very rude of him. All right. Like, disrespecting my dude Sammy like that. But
and technically, the answer is still no. Even though Sammy tried to do reverse psychology, being like, oh, I've never seen you turn down a fight. Are you scared of me? Like, that's what he was doing. And Gunther was, frustrated.
He's afraid of him. He lost.
Shut up. Stop.
He's having PTSD from that brain buster off the top turnbuckle.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You may or may not have been.
Gunther has always been my world heavyweight champion, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just saying, he might be a little scared.
I don't know. So this was an interesting turn, I would say, because I was not expecting Sammy to be a challenger whatsoever. I also think it's interesting that they're even putting him in this position, because I think there are others that have an argument, and I'm not saying who, I don't know, but I feel like there might be some others in the locker room that have a better argument to be the number one contender than Sammy, who just lost the Intercontinental title and then lost his rematch. And now all of a sudden he's the number one contender for the World Heavyweight title. What? But I guess that only matters when WWE wants it to matter. Number one contenders and rematches.
None of it matters.
Rematch clauses don't matter anymore.
It's like, whose line is it anyway? The points don't matter. All right. Yeah. It's not about, like, you have to. This is part of the nonsense of wrestling that you just have to understand and be okay with understanding. All right. That logistics sometimes just don't matter. Okay. And you got to be all right with that. You got to move on. Be happy to ride the wave.
Well, and I'm curious about when this is going to happen, because they're doing it now and they're kind of introducing it, and clearly they didn't have Gunther respond. So that is still part of the story, because we don't know when or if Gunther is going to accept the challenge. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is something that they don't do at Bad Blood, because they do that with Gunther also. They tend to have him defend titles on Raw. So
they do. They love to market him for Raw,
which I still hate, because I feel like you're showing favoritism to the other championship by having Cody like only on pay-per-views and stuff, but whatever. So to me, there's like a complete, like, they're in different categories, yet they want you to believe that they're equal. And by doing stuff like that, you're not treating them equally. Therefore, they're not being viewed equally, which is kind of going against the entire point of reintroducing the World Heavyweight title. But whatever. I think it depends on how long they draw it out, because Bad Blood is like 5-6 weeks away. Like, that's still quite a bit of time to try and fill. I mean, I guess if I have nobody else to put in Sammy's place. So if Sammy's going to be the number one contender and face Gunther, then I can't really complain, because as I said, I don't know who else to put in that spot.
I can't think of anyone right now on Raw that it makes sense to be in a little bit of a title feud with Gunther right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's just no one that makes sense for you to be invested in it. You know what I mean? And more than just a one-off match. So Sammy, at least there's background there. And when he came out and I heard the music, I went, oh, okay. All right. And I wasn't mad. I was like, okay, good. All right. This makes sense. Mm-hmm. All right. And Sammy needs to be put into these title matches to one day eventually be a world champion, which we
if
all
he
know he deserves.
if he wants to, because that was the thing, is he
That
didn't want
was, but
to.
that he can say he doesn't want to, but the
I
peeps
believe
and
him.
Papa
Shinsuke
Paul,
Nakamura didn't want to either.
I know, but this is different. Like Papa Paul and everyone in the new regime, they do see world champion out of him. I know they
No,
do.
no, no, no. I'm not saying whether or not he deserves it or should be or could be. I'm saying Sammy might
Yeah,
not want the responsibility that comes with being the face of Raw, is what I'm saying. To me, I can believe that because there's probably some people who like they don't want to do everything that comes with it. So that's what I'm saying.
agreed.
Um, so it's possible that he's fine with never being champion. He doesn't care. Like it's not going to define his career, is all I'm saying. Please stop.
That's kind of cool. I
All
mean,
right.
look at this. Look at me. I'm like Chris Masters over here.
Okay. Anyway.
Masterpiece.
Uh, yeah, it's hard to tell the difference sometimes. Sometimes I think he's my co-host. Um minus the tan.
I will give you that. I don't have that
Yeah.
strong of a tan.
He also has longer hair now, I think.
Yeah, you look so different.
Yeah, he does. But anyway, so yeah, I'm curious to see how this continues. I do think that I think it has legs to be a match at Bad Blood. And this will appease the people that are so mad that Gunther is champion and that they believe that he's going to be champion for a long time, because Sammy makes you believe there is a chance that he could beat Gunther because he already has. He's the only one who has beaten Gunther. So I think that kind of helps those people chill out a little bit because they're very loud on social media. But yeah. And then we get to the main event, and
I love the build for this.
this
I was so happy with the build for this all episode.
yes, obviously the Judgment Day current and former still run Raw, and that was made very apparent with this storyline, which we loved. I'm sorry, I have to say it. I feel uncomfortable with babyface Damian Priest.
Why?
Because he's just so like ill. Like when he was like, "Como?" I'm like, "Shut the fuck up!" Like, why are you trying to throw in like Spanish? We
That's
get
what they
it.
do. What? That's
I
the
don't like
whole
it. It's just like it just doesn't feel natural. It's not like he seems like an asshole in real life. I love me some badass Damian Priest that wants to like beat everybody up as a bad guy. That's the thing. I'm just having
You
trouble.
just want Razor Ramon vibes, all right? You know,
I mean,
I get it, but enjoy the real Latino bad guy.
no,
all right?
no. Anyway, so they were set to take on Finn Balor and JD McDonough, and of course, the tag team champions lose again, because why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't tag team champions look strong? Why wouldn't they win matches that don't have the titles on the line? Why wouldn't Judgment Day look like a bunch of weaklings for 3 hours again on an episode of Raw? Why not? That is going to irritate me forever until they start making Judgment Day not look like an absolute joke. Because we already saw people in the chat making fun of Liv Morgan for running away from one-legged Rhea Ripley. Okay?
I thought she was faking it. I thought that was the whole bit when she came out. I thought she faked it like, oh, I wasn't really that hurt, and then hit her. But then she was limping in the ring, so I was very confused. Like
But regardless, you know,
Okay.
the visual of the women's world champion running away from a one-legged Rhea Ripley is not great. Damian Priest and Jey Uso beating the tag team champions after they were beaten, I forget by who, a couple weeks ago. Also not a great visual when you're supposed to want us to believe that they're credible, legitimate tag team champions. I hate the way they're booking Judgment Day. I absolutely hate it. So that's what I wanted to talk about from this. As great and entertaining as everybody loved Damian and Jay, and you know, yeeting with each other after the show ended, and you know, Rhea, whatever she was doing. I hate the way they're booking Judgment Day. I absolutely hate it. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. I don't get how we go from such a high of seeing like Finn turn on Damian and like, you know, Liv turning on or I'm sorry, Dom turning on Rhea, and this is where we're at now. I don't understand how we went from like at the peak to like we're in the basement. I don't get it at
You
all.
need to make, unfortunately, you need to make uh Damien and Rhea look strong right now because you're building them to be these big solo stars, and the Judgment Day is just a casualty of that. I don't see them as a weak faction either, though, because of this. It's just part of the story. I don't see anything wrong with it. And the only thing I do see wrong is, yeah, the tag team titles need to be defended more. Like
But that's not on
we
them. That's
saw.
the thing. I like literally had someone trying to argue with me that like, oh, look at how many times the Usos defended their titles. Like they were trying to say to me that they were the ones that were determining when they defended, and for some odd reason they have this belief that Finn and JD are saying they don't want to.
Yeah, I see. I
No,
get it, but I don't.
no. Finn and JD are not telling the creative team we're not defending our tag titles. That is not happening.
No, that's not happening. It's not happening. I just want to see them defend them more or lose them. Like
Yeah.
I don't care to see them as champions anymore.
Well, I think they should keep them because like it would be great if they could even add some like if there was another title that Dom could go for, I would love for the entire like new Judgment Day to have gold because like that would be something that they didn't accomplish like with a group before, like all of them having him at the same
Mm-hmm.
time. I mean, um but yeah, I just want the Judgment Day to look better. I don't care if they only look strong because they help each other win matches. I don't care. I just want to be able to see that like Liv Morgan is not going to get demolished by Rhea Ripley if she's in a cage match with her. You know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
she's not going to have help from Dom. I don't want to see stuff like that because I feel like that's ridiculous. I also don't want Finn Balor to be treated like a joke. He's not a joke. I don't like it with JD either, but anyway, I just want to see Judgment Day being booked better. That's what I want because I want them to be a group for a while and I think that they're interesting. So it's unfortunate, but I guess I'll just continue to scream that from my personal rooftop.
I think you
Um
will because I don't mind it. I love seeing Jay Uso be involved.
whatever.
I did like seeing my dude Damian Priest. I'm a big fan of this Damian Priest because I've been a fan. I was a fan of Damian Priest when he was the Archer of Infamy, when he had that little U.S. title run, because that was right when I started getting back into him. Like, this dude rocks coming out to the I've been bought into Damian Priest for quite some time now. So to see him getting this little push right now, I'm all in. I love it.
I am a big fan of Rhea Ripley simply because I wish I was as cool as Rhea Ripley. That's what
Who
I wish.
doesn't? I mean,
Well,
look at
I'm like, she
Queen of
makes me
Cool.
want to seriously consider just wearing only black in my wardrobe.
I think
Can you
you
imagine
only wore black in Philly, by the way.
one day?
Oh
I
yeah,
had,
it was fucking cold.
yeah, there was
keep
one day.
forgetting. Like
There was
Philly
one
was like
day that
freezing.
one day I looked like I could have been a member of Judgment Day. But otherwise, no. My picture with Cody, I'm wearing a cream flannel and like blue jeans. What are you talking about?
Oh, I forgot. I remember one day you were all in black and you went like an
Yes.
Avril Lavigne look. I was all for it. Like
Yes.
pop punk
It
right
was
here.
yeah. So what if I just did that every day? Imagine how easy it is to go shopping if you only limit yourself to buying black clothes.
I mean, I basically wear black anyways. All my shirts that are wrestling shirts or just shirts in general that I wear all the time are
Oh
black.
yeah.
I'm wearing a black shirt right now and a black hat. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
All right.
But anyway, so yeah, that was Raw.
That was Raw. All right. And we got NXT going on right now.
Oh.
I think I'm gonna throw on No Mercy because I didn't get to watch No Mercy on Sunday. We had a wild weekend of work. So I did not get to watch it because I was resting on Sunday night. And I know wild shit's going on NXT right now, um, like Jordan Grace announcing that next week she will be having a open invitational championship tournament. And then, oh yeah, Julia is here in her stare down with Roxanne Perez. So I'm gonna watch all that and whatnot. So while I'm doing that, you guys should be hitting that subscribe button, all right, and bell notification to know every time we go live. Also, follow us on social media in the links in the description below. And we'll be back on Thursday for our regularly scheduled programming. It is the No Nights Off show. If you have any fun names to like what we call like the No Nights Off show, that's not like the Raw Rewind or SmackDown Breakdown, let us know.
I
We
know.
love to hear all ideas from the peeps. That's what we're about. All right. And so if you have an idea, bring it here because my mind's got 1,000 different thoughts. Sarah's mind's got a million different thoughts. Let's have some thoughts from you. Maybe we're missing something. So, yeah, on that note, thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you got to do is try. We will see you on Thursday. Yes.